So let's talk about the minimum value of a quadratic function and the maximum value of a quadratic function. I already alluded to this earlier, but here we go. If the leading coefficient is positive, the minimum value is the vertex. If the maximum value of the quadratic function. So the minimum, if it's opening up, the vertex is the min. If it opens down, which means the leading coefficient is negative, the vertex is a maximum. So we see two examples here. So there's the minimum. This one's the minimum. Has no max when it opens up because it goes on forever. It goes up forever. And if it opens down, it has a maximum, doesn't have a minimum because it goes down forever. So a backyard farmer wants to enclose rectangular space for a new garden within her fenced backyard. She purchased 80 feet of wire fencing to enclose 3 sides. And she will use a section of the backyard fence as the 4th side. So let me draw a little picture here to get an idea of what we're talking about. There's an existing fence. And then we have there we have a rectangular shape there. Find a formula for the area enclosed by the fence if the sides of the fencing perpendicular to the existing fence have length L. So this is L. That means this side must be 80 minus 2L. Because the whole fencing, there, and there, must be 80. And if this is L here, this is L here, then that's L plus L is 2L, so 80 minus L. So find the formula for the area. So area is going to be equal to length times width. And so we have L for length, and then this must be the width. So length times 80 minus 2L, or area is equal to 80L minus 2L squared, or area in terms of just L, area is a function of just L, is negative 2L squared plus 80L. Excuse me. So then what dimensions should she make her garden to maximize the enclosed area? So given that this is a negative leading coefficient, this would be a parabola that opens down. So the vertex would be the maximum area. And that's going to be, for the L value, it's going to be negative B over 2A. So it's going to be negative 80 over 2 times negative 2. So that's going to be negative 80 over negative 4, or 20. So that this side is 20 and this side is 20, and we can just subtract and get 80 minus 2 times 20 is 80 minus 40, or it's 40. So our dimensions would be 20 by 40. And that's it. That's the maximum area. So just to recap, they told us to call these sides L. I probably would have called them W, but L, L, and then this third side, which is the width then, is going to be 80 minus 2L, because it's 80 feet minus the 2 sides here and here added together. And area is length times width, so it's length times that 80 minus 2L. And we can use the vertex at negative B over 2A to find the length. I'm going to say here L equals, and then we can plug that back in. You could also plug the, oops, that was did not mean to do that. You could plug it into the area. You could put 20 in here. You get the same answer. So it could be negative 2 times 400 plus 80 times 20. So how to use the quadratic equation to find a maximum. Write the quadratic equation for revenue. That's what we're going to be doing next. Find the vertex of the quadratic equation. Determine the y value for the vertex. Okay. Find the unit price of an item. Sorry, the unit price of the item affects its supply and demand. That is, if the unit price goes up, the demand for the item will usually decrease. For example, a local newspaper currently has 84,000 subscribers at a quarterly charge of $30. Market research has suggested that if the owners raise the price to $32, they'll lose 5,000. So that means it'll be at 79,000. So we have two data points. We have 30 84,000. I'm trying to think if we should do the number of subscribers, but the price dictates the subscribers. And we have 32, gives us 79,000. So what price should the newspaper charge for a quarterly subscription to maximize their revenues? Another thing to consider is, what is our definition of revenue? Revenue would be the number of subscriptions they have. So revenue would be the price times the number of subscribers. Let's go with Q for that number. Not sure why we're using Q. Quantity. Q for quantity. There we go. So let's come up with a way to calculate Q, our quantity. Now, if we look at, and this would be looks like a linear relationship. Yeah, because it says assuming subscriptions are linearly related. So let's get our slope. M would be equal to 79,000 minus 84,000 divided by 32 minus 30. So that gives us negative 5,000 over 2, or negative 2,500. So we have Q, and I kind of want to say Q of P. Can I say that? Would be negative 2,500 times P plus some B. So now we could just take either point and plug it in to get our B. I kind of wanted to do a slope, point slope formula. And in fact, I need to give myself some more space to work, so I'm going to move that down. Okay, so we would have, pick either point. I'll do the 30 and 84,000. So 84,000 is the quantity of subscriptions, equals negative 2,500 times 30 plus B. So 84,000 equals, so negative 2,500 times 30 would be negative 75,000 plus B. So adding 75,000 to both sides, 159,000 equals B. So our formula, Q in terms of the price, so the number of subscriptions based on price, is negative 2,500 times P plus 179,000. Let me fix that. 179,000. So I guess if it's free, they'll get 179,000 subscribers. The more they charge, the fewer subscribers. Okay. So if we're looking at revenue being the product of P times Q, which is a function of P, that's going to be P times negative 2,500 P plus 179,000. So revenue, which is now a function of P only, is going to be negative 2,500 P squared plus 179,000 P. And our A is going to be negative 2,500. Our B is 179,000. So when we're looking for the vertex for subscribers, so we would have, for the price, to give us the best subscribers, it's going to be P equals negative B over 2A, or negative 179,000 over 2 times negative 2,500. By the way, I didn't mention this is obviously negative leading coefficient, so it's opening down, so the vertex is a maximum. Okay. So this gives us, I wrote that right, it's 159,000, 179,000. Sorry about that. Glad I caught that before I got too far along. How many of you are shouting at the screen? It's 159. Okay. And we end up with, drum roll please, 31.8. So $31.8 dollars per person. We get the maximum value. So R of P, I guess, would be 31.8 times negative 2,500 times 31.8 plus 179,000. And the revenue would be $2,528,100. And that's quarterly revenues. I guess I'm not counting ad revenue too. Okay, oops, scroll up down. There we go. Okay, hope that makes some sense. And the last thing you can see that I've been pushing it down is the x and y intercepts of a quadratic function. Okay, see you in the next video.